you're living at?
I'm in Aurora, Illinois.
In Illinois, okay. I grew up in St. Louis. Trying to plan a trip out there to go see the grandparents and everything so they can see their little granddaughters. I might wait, though, till it's warmer.
Warm today.
Yeah, I know. I'll plan a trip, though, and it'll have another one of those ice storms you just had.
It'll be in the upper 50s today. I'm trying to get out to go play paintball today. Go play in the mud.
Well, that's fun. That'll be cool. So you live in the same area JoAnna does? Or she's Oklahoma and Illinois, or what is?
She's from Oklahoma. She is moved up here.
Resume recording. All right, we are recording, so we're ready to go. Okay, let me share my screen very quickly. Just tap one. Share screen. Rod's not here today, so take him off. Hopefully he'll be able to join us here in a minute. I just want to go over quickly our invocation. Does anybody wish to invocate today? A burning desire?
I'm pretty tired for an invocation, Chris.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll do it then.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys getting up this morning and putting clothes on. You two, JoAnna, maybe less than them, but it's okay. I call in, source energy, God, whatever you want to say, to help us in this meeting. I really appreciate the, getting together and working on this. I think we're really getting off to a good start, and I really look forward to hearing what you want to speak. So new and goods. Matt, why don't you start? We'll get you done. You can take a little nap.
Not quite that bad. My new and good is I had a coaching presentation yesterday morning for a drug court for people who have nonviolent drug offenses. They go through this program down in a county just south of me, and it was awesome. The judges were there, the lawyers were there, and then all the people, and everyone just loved it. So we got good content here, so it was a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Brian, you want to go?
Sure. New and good. I have my new countertops in finally.
There you go.
That's a month and a half wait for that stuff, and
wow.
I just got to get the tile done. Starts on Monday for all the backsplash and all my other tiling, and JoAnna picked all the other tiling out, and it's all here.
That's my new and good.
Yeah.
Everything I was in charge of is handled.
It's not done, but it's ordered and it's here.
A little 2-for-1 new and good this morning. I like it.
All right, Brian. I thought for sure you were going to share winning your award, but okay.
Oh, that got me into more trouble than anything else. So.
What'd you win, Brian?
Less new and good, huh? All right. JoAnna, you go?
I'm sorry?
New and good for you, or are you just going to say?
Oh, no. New and good for me is all the tile has been ordered and delivered to the house. So when the tile guy gets there on Monday, I just have to talk to him and tell him what to do. So that's good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Rod, welcome aboard.
Hey, good morning, gang. How we doing out there?
Good. What's up, Rod?
Sorry for jumping on a tad late. I had to turn my computer on, and I got the install thing. That was fun. So all my updates had to hit.
All right, we're into new and good, so you're up, bud.
I'm sorry?
I said we're into new and good, so you're up. What's new and good?
You talking about jumping in the pool? The water's cold, right?
Exactly.
Oh, man, I tell you, there's so many good and new things going on. My wife and I moved down here to Newburgh, Indiana a few months back, so there's something new and good every single week in our lives right now. The new is we're moving to Nashville, our headquarters, for work in about 1 month.
Oh,
and
wow.
like I'm going to be inking a building in downtown Nashville here in 2 weeks. So pretty exciting stuff.
Wow, that's cool. Congrats, man.
Very
Thanks.
cool. That's where I went to school there.
Get out.
Yep. I went to school in Vanderbilt.
Shut the front door.
No, it's not, man. I loved it. All the music. It was fantastic.
That's cool, man.
New and good for me. Well, I'll be performing stand-up comedy this evening. That's new. That's good. I like that.
Nice.
And the other new and good is, or I can say that one for next week because I'm gotta get my outline for the webinar for the Canfield group. So that's gonna happen this week. So I'm excited about that. But mostly I'm excited about performing stand-up and have been working on my set for a while. So I'll be finalizing that today.
That's all. How long of sets do you do?
I asked, since I was bringing most of the people to the, it's gonna be a good crowd for me. I'm looking to do 20 minutes. So.
Oh, nice. That's a good set.
Yeah, I might even go a little longer. We'll see. When I plan 20 minutes, I usually go 25. So
yeah.
We'll
Right.
but I'm gonna try to be tight. All right, JoAnna, are you? So I just want to go over the structure today. So timekeeper, who would like to be the timekeeper today for me?
I'll do it.
All right, thank you, Matt. The structure of today's meeting, real quick. We had our warm up. JoAnna's going to present 15 minutes. We'll get feedback for 15 minutes, I thought, and then we're going to email additional feedback. I've got the video link on YouTube. I sent it to Matt, so I piloted that. So we got last week's one. I'll send you the link to it. I'm already recording the meeting. Then I thought we'd go back over feedback and opportunities for the whole meeting. We spoke about that last week instead of having a second presenter. And then we'll do a quick close. Is everybody okay with that agenda, let's say?
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
All right. So that means JoAnna's up. So JoAnna,
right.
I think you could take control.
All right.
And I'm gonna
We're doing 15, eh?
Okay, so here we go. Yep, I'm ready,
Cool.
set. So let me give you a little lead up to this. So the presentation that I give on Tuesday is a 20-minute keynote during luncheon, actually not while they're eating, but as part of a luncheon for the Home Builder Association here for the Sales and Marketing Committee. So I've went ahead and set up my slides and most of this addressing them. So
Awesome.
thanks for letting me get started.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you for the setup.
So are you going 20 minutes today?
Let's do 15 and hopefully I can get through it. I've timed it a couple times last night, took some slides out, so
All
hopefully
right.
I can keep it there. Thanks.
Slam that Red Bull. Here we go.
All right. So good afternoon. Thank you guys so much for having me here at the HBA Sales and Marketing Committee. And special thanks to Gabby and Mary Pierce for putting this on. I mean, some of you guys just look at your calendar in the morning and roll on in here. And this meetings like this, 100 people, full lunch, sponsors, slides, presentations, audio, visual. It takes a lot of work. These ladies did a fantastic job. Can we give them a hand? All right. So let me tell you a little bit why I'm here. Most of you guys know me from the community here in real estate, but there's a little more to my life than that, and I'm going to share a little bit with you so you kind of know where I'm coming from on this. As a busy mom, tween boys, 11 and 12. My partner and I, Brian and I, we run 4 businesses in 2 states and keep up with 2 households. Been a successful realtor for about 15 years, and the last 5 have been fantastic. Been #1 in my office in sales, and the best part of my life right now, from a work standpoint, is training with the masters in real estate and life, and that's why I'm here today to kind of get excited and help you guys get excited about learning the best and fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to go. You ready to get started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not just up here reading a script or talking from a book or following some program. I'm walking the walk the best I can and studying with the masters. You guys might not know who Jack Canfield is, but you might have heard of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And Brian and I have spent a lot of time with him this year and learning from him and personal growth and kind of getting a little bit out of our real estate bubble. And Floyd Wickman is one of our business coaches, and and he's been instrumental in getting me excited about teaching and training in the field. So I come to you with some experience. And just most recently, I've been asked to do some broker development in another office, another RE/MAX office. So to be recognized and appreciated for my skills, to be able to help other agents has been a real exciting part of my year so far this year. But I'm here to talk to you about your this year, but my last year. The number one reason I do what I do in the speaking world is I truly, truly believe that you can have anything you want if you help enough people get what they want. From Zig Ziglar, he coined that term, and I know that many of us live by that, kind of a get by giving philosophy. So I'm here to share that with you the best I can to kind of tell you how things have gone for me lately. Now, here's a little bit about the last 12 months. And this is a little bit like a Facebook post. I'm pretty much only going to show you the pretty parts. But what I really want to share with you is that if you have an idea of where you want to go in life, you can probably get there with the right tools, the right map, and the right focus. Does everybody agree with that? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
So I'm a child of the 80s. And, the good stuff, Flash Gordon, Wonder Woman, MacGyver. But I would say I was a little bit more like, my nickname was Crash Dorman, not Flash Gordon. So I understand about tools, directions, and trying to get where you want to go, but being ready for some bumps along the road. You guys with me? I mean, how many of us haven't had some detours, right? It happens. So here's last year. And let me tell you, I didn't do any of this by myself, but I just want to let you know what can happen in a year. So the end of January last year, none of these things were even on my radar. They were on my vision board. They were in my hopes and dreams and wishes and goals and a few action plans to go with them. But, and I won't say for the last time, but for the 5th time in 7 years, I moved into one of the most beautiful homes I've ever known. It was the best of my Pinterest boards, all combined into one house. I truly became the professional. So, the amateurs that run all the races, they finally win one. I feel like I've crossed over into the professional paid speakers world. Launched an international jewelry business that helps women in developing communities have some economic growth of their own. We take the jewelry that we sell through the Soul Sparkle jewelry collection to women in need and give them ability to make some economy for themselves and kind of show them how to run a small business. I literally traveled like a gypsy. There wasn't a day or a week that went by that my suitcase wasn't out and open, something coming or going. But that's a lifestyle that I really like. I have travel ADD, real estate ADD, teaching ADD, so I love the constant movement and change. And with all that, I still had a great business year. Sold 57 homes in the Tulsa market. And most of you know, it was a year that I changed companies. Whenever you change boats in the middle of the ocean, you tend to have a little bit of downtime. And I was fortunate enough to be prepared and ready to make that move, and it happened great. I would say maybe one of the other best parts of the year was taking 2 full months off. That's not something I ever would have thought would have been possible in real estate and with this lifestyle that I have. And taking the trip of a lifetime. I spent a month in France and was able to call most of it work. So I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm just giving you examples of when you know what you want and why you want to get there, what's possible. Now, I'm not going to say this was easy. This was also one of the most challenging years of my life personally and somewhat professionally. But if you know the path that you want to be on, like that bottom picture, I mean, if you're looking for the meaning in life, you're probably not going to get too distracted by cheese and crackers. Right? Does that sound familiar? Everybody get on a little detour from time to time? So here's something to consider while you're going towards those goals. Who are the 5 people that you're spending the most time with? I've had some people in my life that have had to go that just weren't getting me where I wanted to be. If they're not building you up, challenging you, encouraging you, offer a soft landing when it's time, it's probably time to look at those people that are in your support system. And sometimes you don't always get to choose. If you've got family that is challenging to you, you need to pick and choose how much influence they have on you. These are my top 5. You guys recognize Brian, and Haley's my best friend from college, and Wes is my lead buyer specialist and operations manager, and those are my parents. And I'm glad to say that the majority of my time, energy, and influence comes from these 5 people. You've got to have the home court advantage. And if you don't have the home court advantage, move or make up your own. All right. So those 5 people, or beyond, really, because you've got a lot more than 5 people in your world, are they hitchhikers or co-pilots, right? Are they helping you get where you want to go, or are they creating unnecessary detours? Let me tell you, some of my co-pilots turned into hitchhikers. It just took me a while to kick them out of the car. I didn't know the difference. So if you don't know where you're headed and you keep going on the same path, where are you going to be in 12 months from today? It's January 24th, 2017. If nothing changed in your life, heck, even if you were on a straight road and you just kept going straight, you think there's a good chance that without some correction and some focus and a GPS destination, that something like this might happen, right? So I have one of my favorite drives that I've ever been on, and multiple times up and down the Pacific West. I love the LA to Malibu to San Diego drive. That one's always clear and bright and sunny, and best done with the convertible and a loud radio. Then there's this one from San Francisco, either direction. The one up to wine country is great, but that usually means there's a couple wine stops along the way, so not always the best place to be driving very fast, and certainly windy road. But the scariest drive I've ever been on was in Big Sur. And if you guys have ever been to Big Sur, you know it looks literally like another planet. When I turned the corner and went into this geography, I thought I was in a movie. Some friends of ours had recommended this restaurant way up on the hill at Post Ranch. And they said, you absolutely need to get there before sunset. It's just so beautiful. You don't want to miss it. You'll be sitting on the side of the ocean looking at the waves. And I was at a luxury real estate conference, and of course the last speaker ran long. So we got out of town a little late. It was about a 45-minute hour drive up the mountains. And the fog started rolling in, the sun started setting. But we'd had reservations at this 5-star restaurant, and we were going to get there no matter what. But it got so dark that we literally were having to trust the GPS and our headlights. And we could hear the waves crashing up against the cliffs. And we knew there was a huge drop on the side. But we trusted the vision that we had in those 200 feet of the headlights, and we trusted our GPS destination. And we got to one of the most beautiful restaurants, most beautiful views. I assume it was beautiful. It was foggy and dark, but the pictures they had in the restaurant were beautiful. So my point here is that if you know where you're going, you can get there a little bit at a time. And of course, there's going to be detours and roadblocks and side trips and scenic views, but you're going to get there. But the thing that gets in the way for most of us heading towards our goals and our big wishes and dreams in life is fear. I love this one from Zig too. Forget everything and run. That's kind of the flight, which I tend to be sometimes a flight person. Or face everything and rise. And fear is something that can really motivate us, something that can really intimidate us, but most of the time it gets in the way of our successes. So to overcome fear and to get your 200 feet at a time, I recommend a little focus. I love this one too. Follow one course until successful. It's really overwhelming to work on a whole bunch of projects at once, right? I mean, when you get to work and you've got, I know those of you that are home builders, you get 7 or 8 homes and they're all started at the same point, and you're trying to keep up with everything. Those of us that work in the real estate industry, we have 8 or 9 or 10 clients. We kind of have to focus on the one that needs us the most or needs the most attention. So same thing can translate into our lives. If you just had a little more focus in one of these 7 areas, can you imagine how much your life would be affected? And this is the hard part when you're so busy and you're just living day to day and you're just trying to get through the day and the next week and the next month. We sometimes lose sight of the things that are really and truly most important. So I would encourage you to look at this list of 7 and maybe pick the 3 that you need the most work on. Give yourself a little grade, 1 through 5. 1 being that it barely exists in your world, 5 meaning you've rocked it out. Like you're done. You don't need to do anything else with it. So if you take a little time, pick one of these, pick 3 of these 7, and think about for the next, say, 60 days through the end of first quarter, which ones need your most attention? This is another place we get off course. Any Crown fans in here? Anybody in their Netflix show hole yet? Great series, by the way. So the character that plays Winston Churchill is just a great crotchety old guy, but you can see his character. I think they did a great job of what I would picture him to have really been like. You will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. Now, how true is that? If we answer every phone call the first ring, if we jump and run every time a client needs something, every time a kid needs something, every time a parent needs something, how long does it take to get to that goal? How many detours can we really expect to take and not get back on course? But I thought this one was pretty great and to the point. So we have all these roadblocks to our dreams and goals. What's getting in the way of your dreams? These excuses. They're so easy. Oh, I have too much debt. Oh, I'm too busy. Real estate, sometimes I'm not busy enough. I don't have enough money. I've got all these obligations. I worked so hard for these cars, these boats, these houses, and now I got to work to keep up with them. Oh, and then my health. I'm not strong enough. I'm too tired. I've gotten sick. The list never really stops until you stop making it. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Making your own excuses, but you can go on and on, right? Until you decide to stop. I'm not going to schedule that beach vacation until I lose 20 pounds. Do you think this guy really is worried about his extra more than 20 pounds? You think he came home from vacation and say that vacation was awful because I wasn't the best looking guy on the beach? No, that doesn't happen, does it? No. And I'm looking around this room, and there's some people here that are missing among us. We've had some big losses in this community this year. We've had some big losses in our world. And I just don't want to go to another funeral or read another obituary of a friend or colleague and know that they missed something, or fear for myself that I've missed something in life because I was making those excuses about debt and 20 pounds to go to the beach and the busy schedule and the cold weather and the hot weather. So I didn't mean to choke you guys up, but I know what we're all thinking right now, and none of us want to be in that place. Sometimes we feel like we're a little irresponsible to do the things we want to do. Oh, great. Good to know this slide doesn't work. But it's really funny, so I'm going to tell you guys what it says. Here's our new retirement plan. At age 65, we'll get divorced and then marry people who've planned better. Right? I don't know very many 65-year-olds that are really hot on the market, but I don't know that I would wait that long if that's your plan. But I'm sure some of us have had some experience trying. But life is, we hear that saying, and I just mentioned, the losses that we've experienced in this community. Is life really too short, or is it too long not to live the way you want to live, in the places you want to live, the places you want to go, the people that you want around you? Because I know I still have those days where I get up and I think, how in the world is it going to get through? But when I focus on the things that I'm excited about and the passions that I have and the people that I'm passionate about, getting where they want to go and helping them along, the day goes much faster and sometimes way too fast. So consider that. Life's too long for it not to be going the way you want it to go. And the detours aren't that far off the path that you really want to head back on. So in those 7 categories that we looked at, and you hope you guys wrote down a couple of them, maybe 3, that was my suggestion. What would happen if you spent 5% more effort in those 3 areas of your life for improvement? You think that would even out that wavy road a little bit? Kind of clarify some paths? Someone calls you on a Saturday night and asks you to go play golf on Sunday, and your number 1 goal was to spend 5% more time with your family. How would that help you make a decision about the best way to spend your time? If you haven't used your gym membership in the last 6 months, what's 5% more effort going to look like to your health if you went to the gym 5% more time, maybe 1 in 5 days a week, right? You could make some serious improvements, just a few steps at a time. And we all know there's always wrong turns and detours. Reroute's always an option. In that time that I spent in France, I was one of only 4 women on this road trip that knew how to drive a stick shift. And thankfully, that was the case. It saved us a few $1,000s in a rental car. But I can tell you that Surrey does not speak French very well. And what the street sign said and what my French knew it needed to say and what Surrey said frequently did not match. There were lots of roundabouts, detours, reroutes. And not just that, we were on international Wi-Fi or cellular data. So every time we had to reroute, we had to pull over, either find a Wi-Fi signal or cautiously slip on our cell roaming at 50 cents a minute or $5 a minute, depending on the county and country we were in, and find the reroute. So we were, as carefully as we were following a route, we had to get off and reroute. We would have ended up in Germany instead of the south of France if we hadn't stopped and done that. Might have still been an adventure, but it wasn't the one we planned, and probably not the detours that were going to be worth taking, because if we missed some of the things we were headed to do, we would have been really sad. And life's like that. If you don't reroute when you need to, or when you finally hit a roadblock or a detour that's not where you want to be, you're going to spend a lot of time there if you don't get back on course. So all this is fun and good thoughts, and oh yeah, that feels good, and you guys are going to leave here maybe a little more pumped up, because about January 24th, we've all stopped our New Year's resolutions or our exciting new plans about 2 weeks ago, right? So I'm going to ask you to take some action steps, and not big ones. None of this is going to be life-changing, but a little bit at a time will change your life significantly. So go back to those 3 areas. What 3 areas you're going to spend 5% more energy on? The next 60 days. Write out those action steps. What is it going to, in those 3 categories, what's it going to take to make some change? Consider the 5 people that you're spending time with. Are they hitchhikers or co-pilots? And what's the one thing that could happen in the next 11 months that would really make an impact on your life? It could be something crazy. It could be write a book. It could be build your first house. It could be grow your team. It could be run a marathon. What is it for you that if you did that, you would feel like you could do anything in the world? That's my recommendation. So now we've got a plan. We've got some motivation. We've heard some good stories about how to get to where you want to go. So the next thing, here are my Star Wars fans. Where are you guys? Stay on target, right? There's a caveat to this. You need to know what your target is. This was one of Brian's Christmas presents. That's over the toilet in our master bathroom. So if you know what your target is, be sure it's on the right focus. And keep in mind, everything you really want in life is just on the other side of fear. So reroute, refocus, head where you want to go. And I know in this 20 minutes, we didn't really get to cover how-tos on all these categories. So when I decided to do this talk, it dawned on me that some of us might need a little more time together. So I reserved next door this Friday the training room at the board headquarters, and I'd love to invite all of you to join me. I've got about 20 spots left that I saved specifically for this group, knowing I was going to be talking to you guys today. So here's the link. Yeah, it's a special rate, $99 for this group. I'd love to see you on Friday, and we can spend a little more time together and work out that roadmap a little more carefully so that you really feel like you can get where you want to head in 2017. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Good job, JoAnna.
I'm never at a loss for words, so I'll jump in here. Am I going to, is there a format, Chris, for feedback, just so I don't overtake the time?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Brian, it's on your screen. Can you pull it up real quick?
I emailed it to everybody through Google Drive, and that's why I was going to discuss it with everybody here today to see if this is what everybody wanted to use as their
I don't mind taking a minute of my feedback for Brian to share this, because this would be helpful to all of us. It'll be helpful in how you can give me feedback. Sorry to interrupt you, Rod.
Chris, if you want, do you want to pull it up on your screen, Chris?
That's what I'm trying to do right now. I have the Google Drive. I thought I had it up, but apparently I closed it. So my apologies. If you've got it already up, then just
I do.
Screen share.
I do. Let me do that. All right, screen share.
How big of an audience are you going to have, JoAnna?
Probably 50 to 60 people, I think.
Nice.
And I've got capacity for 100 for the workshop on Friday.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Can you guys see everything?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Can you guys see everything that I got here?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did is I wrote up a few things because after last week's meeting, want to make sure that the structure, the elements of the speeches, been through a lot of different speaking training courses. Now this is not the Canfield material fit into this. This is just what I had that I've used for so long. And it can be very clear, and it can also be very critical too. So if the speech structure here is connecting with the audience and get your message across, those are like the main 2 points of this. Speaking of the elements of a speech, I wrote those out here, and getting down to what the structure of the speech actually is. Now, none of this structure makes any difference to me personally if you don't get across the first 2 questions that I wrote here for the feedback. Did you connect with the audience? Did you get your message across to the audience? I mean, and to me, nothing else really matters at that point, but I also put in there the teach, entertain, and motivate. There's always people in that room who are looking to be taught something. People are looking to be entertained. And let's just say out of 10 people, 3 people are looking to be taught something, 3 people are looking to be entertained, 3 people are looking to be motivated. And you always get that one person, you don't know why they showed up, and you know something, it doesn't matter. You're not going to hit that person no matter what it is. But did you have those elements of there of teaching, entertaining, and motivating? And usually if you're connecting with your audience and getting your message across, it is going to connect with those 3 things too. So structure and elements for feedback, I just wrote these things out. It can be everything from the look, what look are you trying to present, your personality. It depends on what your message is, because if I'm the look for if I'm trying to whatever, suit and tie, well, maybe I want to be in a bathrobe for whatever message I'm trying to I don't know. Number 3 is really understanding the content that you're sharing. 4 is use of visuals, and really connecting with that, and how you use the visuals too. There's a lot of elements in that. Number 5 is just the participation of the audience. 6, the stories. 7, I wrote the commitment from the audience. You're getting a commitment from them to do whatever it may be. It may be to sign up for something. It may be to sell them something. It may be just to get them to say they'll do something for their own lives. Number 8, I put staying on track. Did it fit with the message of warm-up, setup, message, and close? And then it's the intangibles. Was it believable? Would you be willing to apply this? Is it adaptable? And number 10 was the time management. What was the pace, the finish time, getting to the point? So I typed all that stuff out. I don't know if we want to use that for our feedback here today. My thought for feedback for today and when we do this would be, we could use the Canfield version, was what worked well for me and what room for improvement could I see that would help connect better with me on the 2 things of connecting with the audience and getting your message across. So I would focus on the 2 things here of just saying this is what worked well for me with connecting the audience, this what would work better, and then also this is what worked well for me in your message, and this is what would work better. I guess if we can break it down to those things, I think we can do it fairly quickly. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel like that's an easy way of doing feedback, or do you guys have any other input you'd like to share? Rodney, you're good. Matthew, you're good.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Chris?
Well, I really appreciate you putting this together. I think those 3 elements there, if we all went through them, and then obviously there may be some intangibles that you want to talk about. So I think really the connection, message, and did you teach, entertain, motivate are really beautiful points to talk about what worked and what the improvement opportunities are. I like the structure, so I'm willing to, let's use this, and then we can always, loop back if we want.
Cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot, Brian. I know last week's feedback, I thought about it all week. It just was too random on my behalf. So I like staying very focused. This is a good template, and we can create subjectivity from that objectivity. So I like it. It's good.
Okay. And if we with these three questions, what worked well, what would work better? We do that. We these three right here. And if you want to get into more specifics, then you can go into that. And that's really what it's going to be. Hey, this would be work better for me.
Good. I think we know what we're doing here.
Okay, great.
And you're not going to hurt my feelings. I've been in speaker boot camp where I was told that my hair was too long and that my lipstick was too bright, and so I really want some good candid feedback from you guys.
So Rod, you said you wanted to go first. You're up.
Yeah, I'm just, what worked well for me is my belief in a speaker is, did I take something away from it that I can remember that's simple? So oftentimes a tagline, symbolism, hitchhikers versus co-pilots, for example, that works for me. Being able to take the imagery of humor with a metaphor and then plugging it into, you've got to have awareness, you've got to have clarity, and then there's got to be reinforcement with the goal structure. That worked really well for me. From my perspective, what could have worked better for me is, for example, I didn't see any of the slides. I don't know if it's my computer or what, but it kind of hit me right in the forehead, no pun intended with the monitor here. But I actually watched JoAnna because I couldn't see anything but her face as she spoke. And so what I would say is some of the body movement while you're speaking was challenging for me in staying focused on your content. One of the speaking schools I went to, they actually made us think about our head and not moving it while we spoke for 10 minutes. It's the hardest exercise I ever had to do. That would be the only thing I would say, from my perspective. I really enjoyed the content, the Zig Ziglar quotes. The MacGyver made me laugh because I was a huge fan. The 2 success principles that actually came out in the talk, and I don't know if you intentionally did that or there was unintentionality to it, but there was you said roadblocks prevent us from getting to our goals, and the number one reason is excuses. And I put a big star next to that, and I said failure to take 100% responsibility. That was integrated into your talk. And then, of course, the 5% more effort, which to me is kind of release the brakes or take action. So really well done. I connected with you. I liked your personality. You were very approachable. And I put in huge bold font, you're very real and likable. So I really enjoyed the speech, JoAnna. Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback.
Okay. Anybody like to go next? All right, I'll go. So keeping to this thing, did you connect with the audience? Yes. I thought you connected with the audience. My improvement opportunity for you is if you're going to bring about the losses, I would bring that up earlier. That's the moment I felt most connected to you, and it was buried deeper, farther into your speech. I equate this stuff with stand-up comedy. You want to open with your most connecting or your best stuff first, and I thought that was your most connection piece, and then you can kind of move through it. I really thought it would have added more power to the speech if you had rearranged those ones. Let me look at the second one. Did you get your message across? I thought you had a good message. I was a little distracted too because I think it's something we have to be aware of. Your screen, you weren't showing us your screen, so it was just your head.
Oh, really? You didn't see any of my slides?
No.
So that's one thing that I think you have to hit the screen share below, but that's a technical piece. But the good part about it is that it forced me to look at the way you were presenting, your mannerisms and the way that you were talking. So here's a good point that I just came out. If we're going to be doing the webinars, I think it might be good for us to practice looking into the camera and speaking to that as a person. So here I'm talking to you as a person, and here I'm just kind of talking and looking at myself. It makes quite a bit of difference if you're looking directly into the camera and speaking as if that person's there. So just a little tweak for us on the webinar. I like the humor. You made me laugh, which always is good for me. There was some details in like some of the stories I would take out, and I just have an example here was when you were talking about, being in France and how much the cell phone cost, that those details were a little too distracting for me. I think you could have been a little bit tighter on your story to get to your point. So that for me was kind of my feedback on it.
Thank you. I can't even imagine listening to this speech without the slides. So I'm glad to know there's anything nice to say. I'm ready, Brian.
Okay. You sure?
Yes.
The sauna guy.
Well, okay. So I loved your enthusiasm. That was great. I like the props, the helmet, that kind of stuff. I love that. That's great. My recommendations is you watch this, exactly what you did, because I feel like I got half the speech. So this is what I saw. I saw a lot of this. And this is what we saw.
Yeah, I thought you guys were looking at my slides. I wasn't paying any attention to my body.
And this comes back to preparing for things like this. This is something that I brought up many times with you before, is practice this, test this. Hey, can you see these slides? Even when you start, whatever it is, because then the next 15, 20 minutes, I got half the speech is what I got. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was choppy. I didn't know I know your stories. So it didn't connect with me. If I was, just listening, it didn't connect. I didn't connect, and I didn't understand the message because those things weren't a part of it. So I think I'm going different feedback scales here. On a scale of 1 to 10, I got you at about a 4 or a 5, and you could double that easily with just having the setup correctly, the slide.
Yeah.
I didn't get the message, so it didn't connect with me, even though I know the story, and I didn't get the message either, because there was so much stuff going into it, and I felt like you started certain things and didn't finish them. And I think the slides will help that incredibly, but sometimes it's less content, more understanding of whatever you're trying to share. And then there was certain wordplay or certain words it would work better for me if you didn't use. I do have clients who are gypsies. Okay, ADD. People have different stigmas associated with those things. Where you use this casually, somebody else may have a stigma associated with it. So those are the things of that. Like I said, some of the stuff was choppy. What's a vision board? 200 feet ahead of us. 5 people in your life. Some of these things were so quickly thrown out there that I don't know that the visuals
would have saved it. I should have asked if you guys could see those. I didn't dawn on me there was none that you couldn't have seen what I was looking at.
The other thing that I want to share with you that I hope this.
Go for it. I'm fine.
Your lips.
Did they do the thing?
They did.
Okay.
So JoAnna and I have done this quite a bit.
I don't know how to fix that. I've even gotten a coach a face coach to do that.
Just kind of, I can't even do what she does, but her lip will come
I
off.
literally talk out of the side of my mouth. It's terrible.
So,
But I'm nervous.
anyways, I'm very critical of this. I've seen some of these things, so
I've worked on it too, and I'm not there yet. Okay.
your enthusiasm was great. I know those people love you. Just test it first, please.
You know, yeah, that's interesting feedback. It really is. He knows you more than we do, obviously, but so he's able to go into more intimate type of feedback, I think, on this with the lips and that. But that's, you know, I appreciate the honesty there. And I think what we're learning is when you look at this dot on your computer, there's a real skill in being able to communicate an authenticity through the kind of the digital lounge. And I know personally that's something I've got to work on. So good feedback, and thanks again, JoAnna, for getting out there on the end of this diving board. Yeah.
Forcing me to get this done before Sunday night too. I spent so many hours on these slides. I'm going to send them to you anyway, Brian. It'll make so much more sense.
Really will.
Thanks.
Is Matthew here? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't have my feedback from Matt.
I think he fell off because he has a St. Louis Cardinals cap on.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can only stay on so long, you know.
But I think this is real important to, as we're talking about here today. Chris, if you could share that schedule that you were putting on there with, I don't know, on the Google Docs file, on the other, the original one I sent, whatever it is, so that we can see what's going on too. But I really think it's good to have a format for this, especially after last week.
I definitely got mine.
Okay.
I printed it out.
Okay. So I do. These are the formats that I have. I just want to make sure we're on the same page on everything.
You know what's really cool about this, guys, is that we're able to kind of, you know, maybe it's due to our training and kind of getting to know each other in the confines of a workshop environment. But I really like the vulnerability. That's the word I'm going to use today. The vulnerability that we're sharing with one another. You know, if we were to put 8 people on this right now that didn't do the 2016 workshops with us, I don't think you'd get this type of vulnerability. So maybe it's just the chemistry of the group. You know, maybe it's the good vetting of Brian and Chris making this happen. I don't know, but I'm really liking what I feel right now. And I think it's really cool that we can hold each other accountable and not take it personal. So I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I'm just to piggyback on that. It's what I like here is, look, we're all trying to go to next level. I think that's a fair assumption. And we need what's working, and we need to know where our improvement opportunities are. And I really like the different voices that I hear here. And I just want to also point out that I appreciate people writing it, but I think this part, and now I'd like to kind of pivot to the overall structure. I think the hearing the feedback from people is more important than the written feedback. So when Rod speaks or saying, so that's my gut instinct is saying, look, I'd like to restructure or think about the structure here so we make sure we get this feedback. When I hear Brian talk, it goes, oh yeah, that's pertinent to me. Or Rod talk, I say, oh yeah, that's pertinent. Or even, you know, JoAnna, like when I hear it, I see you, I'm like, I wonder if I do that. Like, you know, there's certain things that you see and you're wondering, I'd be curious if I'm like that on video. Let me go and check. I mean, so it's those pieces to it are really important to hear this feedback and not just written. So I'm going to encourage us to look at our format here a little bit and make sure that this piece becomes part of it. I know, what do we got, about 10 minutes left. Matt was our timekeeper. So I'd like to kind of talk about the overall structure of what we're thinking about for next week. And I have an ask. So overall, I'm going to put the ask out first, and I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is going to be. I had spoken to Jack Canfield about this. And he said, if you put this thing together, will you let me know? Because I might go on the call with you. So I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to ask Jack Canfield to join the call if you want me to.
No, not teasing. It's a joke. It's part of the 9 no's, man. Come on.
Yeah, are you sure? Are you sure? Really?
Well, I'm glad it wasn't this week when my slides didn't work and I was doing all this.
Well, no, that's perfect. It's perfect because part of this is how we're working together, what we're sharing. So if something's a complete train wreck, I'm not saying you're a train wreck, but if it is, it's how we respond to it, what we're learning from it, what progress we're making, what room for improvement, those types of things. And just doing this right now, it gave me an idea, Chris, that somebody might want to be able to take notes, and one person's a timekeeper, one person's just typing notes for the feedback that we could refer back to. Because I know in this situation right now, when I'm receiving feedback from other people, I'm not hearing most of it.
Right.
Especially after I have enough adrenaline going through my system from giving a presentation. I really don't hear it, or I don't want to hear it. And Jack talked about that too, about feedback. Sometimes he doesn't want to hear about it till, he's ready to see it.
Well, we recorded this, so I can go back and look at what you guys saw and go back and listen to the feedback and see how.
Sure, but you don't do that.
Well, I might have to this time.
I have you recorded many times, and I know how many times you have not looked at it, and it's almost always.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if it's like minutes for the meeting, okay? And that's why I like the Google shared drive or that kind of stuff. Just, we can share it. Everybody can type into it. Type your own notes, okay? That's why
I think you're onto something here, Brian. Why don't we create a standardized feedback template, and then we have accountability to get that filled out prior to the next meeting. If we don't delegate with accountability, it's just going to go, it's not going to get done consistently, maybe once or twice. But what do you think about that, team? Maybe something like that?
I think we just use the template that Brian's already created, and we just
that's what I mean. Yeah.
And just fill within that if you have extra comments. I think the top 3 are the critical pieces. I mean, quite honestly, if you do not connect with your audience, your speech is over. You can have the best slides in the world, you can have the best message in the world, but if you do not connect with people, you're done. People go, that was interesting content, and then they go, I wonder what I have to buy for my groceries. I mean, you're totally going to lose them. So I think the format that Brian's come up with, let's stick with those nice 3 simple points, because it's really kind of the key points to it, and then he's got those other pieces on the bottom there where you can say, things that maybe you notice that aren't germane to those first 3 points. You just say, I have to tell you, that color does not work on you. You need to, whatever that kind of thing that was distracting you, you've got those other pieces that you can fill out. So I say, let's just stick with that and see how it works. And so I get your point, Brian, on this, but hearing the feedback's not only for the person who presented. It's for us to hear the voices of what other people are seeing when you're speaking, what I got interested in. If it's only done by email, then I'm going to miss out on, I see what you're saying on this or that. I mean, or what you saw in this meeting. So, maybe there's a balance, let's just say. I think it's important to have the verbal one, and it's important to have the written one in case you're not ready to hear it.
Did everybody get the Google Drive link that I sent?
Yes, for me, Rod. Yes.
Okay. So the one I don't have it editable, but the other one is the Keynote Mastermind Group notes, and I put through each of these things, like your information, as much as I had of it. You type your information. What's your topic? We could actually write it right in there, however you want to do that. Or we just do it notes for that particular meeting. That would be my thought. If you just want to type in notes as it just scrolling down. Here's today's date, the 21st. This was the agenda. This is JoAnna, speaking, and then this is the feedback from these people. And we can just type our own information in. I just write an example of that. I'll just type that in here. And
share your screen, please.
What's that?
Share your screen, please.
All right, hold on. Let me do that.
Not that we don't like the robe or anything.
I like it very much.
It's very fluffy.
Yeah, it's like hot yoga, right? That's good.
All right, so this is the one thing I shared with everybody originally, and just type. I had a format of just put your name, your contact information, your occupation, just so we knew a little bit about who we are. Then what your topics were, so we clearly knew what your topics are, and then also going, hey, what's your breakthrough goal for this? I don't know, I'm making shit up. And then we have.
Does this mean I need to come out of the witness protection program? Yeah.
You can use a different address. A PO box is fine. So then we got into here where we had on the 7th. This was the notes that I copied it and pasted it that Chris sent out.
Nice.
And then we just come down here. And I just could put JoAnna's presentation. Okay. And what we could put is, she could write in what was the topic of it, what was her message, who is her audience. I'm just this is just stuff as I go, okay? But then we could put feedback, and we could put everybody in here, and then what your feedback was.
Yeah, I think this is excellent. Let's just keep it simple. This is what worked well for me, and this is what could have worked better for me. Like the breakouts we had prior to our 55-minute presentations, I can't get over how much that personally helped me. Mm-hmm. I think keeping the feedback simple with verbatim on emails is critical, but also the audio. So as long as it's simple and standardized, I'm all for it.
So this would be my thought,
Hey guys, I like it. So we lost our timekeeper, and I know we're kind of reaching the end of our hour. I think we're making good progress as far as actually doing the speaking and actually creating kind of the format for it. My gut is telling me that we need more time. I'd really like it to be 2 people speaking a week, so it's not 5 weeks between chances to speak. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm thinking maybe next week we still keep it to 1, and then have this discussion again until we get the format really nailed down.
I think it'll go smoother when we have less to talk about on this format and feedback process. I think we will be able to get 2 in, because we spend a lot of time talking about the hows at this point, but they need to be done at this moment too.
Yeah.
If you think about the maturity of the process of what we're trying to do, a chunk of our time right now is the narrative, the delivery of the individual, and then being assessed and judged by his or her peers. Mm-hmm. So as we mature through this process, a chunk of that time is obviously going to be alleviated and go away. Mm-hmm. So I think the quality of that person's speech with critical feedback is of paramount interest right now, my opinion, opposed to quantity. Mm-hmm. I still echo Brian's sentiments, some weeks back of once a week, but I don't think speed is the answer right now. I think it's good quality with good feedback. And then as we go into phase 2, whichever that phase is, and I don't know what it is, maybe it's me in a robe, but we then can get into maybe more accelerated types of formats. That's just my feedback.
All right. I think that's the way to go forward. Brian, what about you?
I really think that if we can do it in a condensed version, that'd be great. And we understand that we can type it out as we're going real quick, and here's your feedback. Here's 30 seconds, 1 minute of feedback a person. We could get 2 in each week, or we could just focus on 1 a week until we have this tightened up.
Oh, come on, Brian, make a decision. You're on the fence, man. You're better than that. Come on. You told us the first week you wanted 1 a week. Now you want 2. Throw me under the bus.
All right. This is I would prefer 1 a week, because I think the feedback is crucial, and I think what feedback people give is the best mirror for themselves. So I may not help JoAnna on what I told her, but it's a great mirror for myself. and saying, this is what I need for myself. I'm saying it to JoAnna, but I'm saying it to myself. These are things I need to be aware of. And the time frame for this, the original structure of this was going to be 3 months until we turned it into the 6-month version. So I think this is
Yeah, let me just jump in here because time is limited. I like the format of the 1 hour. Now, if you guys want to make it 2 hours in 1 week, I'm fine with that. But I think the 1 hour should be dedicated to that person and critical feedback, opposed to 1 hour with 2 people. So if we want to do 2 people, I guess my way of kind of saying we can maybe do that if you want is then throw in another Wednesday night, or a Saturday or something. I don't care, but I think we really need to have the quality of that person's presentation for 1 hour, just because the feedback and hearing other people, learning our styles and personalities. I mean, we're different than we were on, just 62 minutes ago. I didn't know JoAnna. Now I do. I like Brian's feedback. It makes me more comfortable. Right? I don't know where Matthew went because he's a St. Louis fan, but I think there's something.
Easy, Rod. Easy.
Yeah, there he is. There's something in this 1 hour. And, I've done speaking for years, and I know we're all really good at it. But it's the magic, right? It's the magic of getting to know people and that aha moment, that dopamine moment where you say, man, that person gets me. He really gets me, or she gets me. There's just no way to prepare for that. And that's the beauty of this, right?
Hey, I'd like to get back on that idea here. That's what you're looking for in your speech, is what is going to capture someone in the beginning that says, this person gets me, or they've captured my attention, and what else are they saying? And I think that's the goal of this, really, is to get to that point where you feel comfortable, where in any audience, you're going to be, what I'm best at to capture someone, to get someone who says they get me or they want to listen to me. So I think it was a really good feedback, Rod. All right, so let's make a decision here. We'll stick to one person. Rod, Brian?
I hate to throw a monkey wrench into all this, but I've got my senior HR manager resigned on me. And I've got to bounce up to Portage, Indiana as soon as I shut this monitor down, which is about 5.5 hours from my driveway. And I've got to live in a hotel for about a week and a half. Is there any way I can bump mine from next Saturday to the following Saturday, Brian? Would you be okay with that, or does that not fit into your schedule? If not, I'll jump in the pool with my
You have one
swimwear.
less distraction all week. That should make it easier.
What's that?
I'm in the Oklahoma house this week, so I have one less distraction.
By the way, that's a beautiful house. I love that background.
Yeah, I've got a lot of appointments on next Saturday. That's why.
All
So
right.
I got a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, I signed up for it. I'm gonna go down. I signed up for it, so I can figure it out. It's nothing I haven't handled before. So.
All right, so Rod, you're up for next week then, and we'll keep with essentially the format that I had for today, which is speech, feedback, and then we'll talk a little bit about the content. I have a feeling we're going to start nailing this down a little bit clearer. Next week, I really want to keep the feedback based on the template that Brian's developed, and let's see how that works within that template, and try to really target that kind of 15 or 20 minute window. How much time are you going to do, Rod? 15?
I think 15. I mean, for me, it's always trying to truncate it, but 15 for me is fine. I'm going to just try to keep it very personable and narrative based. I'm not really going to get into any type of heavy methodology. To me, it's just about trying to connect through this monitor right now.
Okay. All right. I think we have a plan. Closure. Look, guys, I'll say it. I was excited this morning to talk to you guys. It gets my prime pumped, and I got a show tonight, so I'm going to take some of this energy and store
Take it down, man. Take it down.
I'm going to store it later on. I'm looking, I'll tell you what, I normally don't record or post my shows, but I'll consider it for the group if you want me to.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
little hard for you guys to come.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Hey, Matt, can I give you a call for feedback? Do you have like 2 more minutes? Because it was very valuable from the others. Is that an option?
I'm willing to stay on the line if he's got time.
Yeah, I'm in no hurry. I'll stay on.
I tell you what, JoAnna, my computer was so bad. I got a few notes, but I'd like to go back and watch it again once Chris can post it online, because I didn't even see a good section of it.
My slides didn't work, so yeah, I'm glad that I got any positive feedback, because I can't even imagine. I hope I wasn't picking my nose.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a call after this is over.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right, then, guys, we'll see you, guys and gals, I should say. We'll see you next week. Again, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your time on this. I have a feeling that it's going to be there's a lot of possibilities with this, and I'm looking forward to exploring it.
All right, stay dry out there in California. The locusts and frogs are coming next.
No, man, I'll take all this rain, man. All right, bye.